I'm sure one of the bright guys in there said, well, you know, if we just go after misinformation, disinformation, there'll be a lot of pushback and people say that's free speech and all. What can we put in that people stick it in there? One of these things is not like the others, but we shove it in there, shoehorn it in, and it's stuff that people might say, well, actually, yeah, I don't like that stuff. Easy. Hate speech.
Hey all, I'm just back from the UK where I did a few live gigs, and I'm going to show you a clip here from my one in Salisbury. Fantastic crowd, huge energy. And I'm going to highlight here something very ominous that happened while I was in the UK. The government said they are going to persist in trying to push through the insane hate speech laws. So this is one of the most sinister things over the past few years happening all over the world. And in my Salisbury talk, I actually touched on it. But most importantly, the first few minutes of this clip shows you the background and who is driving these insane laws through our politicians. So that's really important. And then the second half of this clip will actually give the context around the insanity of the proposed laws themselves. So please do share this one. It's very important to get the word out on what's happening. And it doesn't just apply to my country, it applies to pretty much all countries in the West. So comment, subscribe, share, and get the word out there. So here you go, enjoy the live performance.
All documented. This slug actually makes me feel sick. I mean, out of all of them, if you've ever seen him, do you know what he said a year or two ago? He came out and said, we don't have a nice weather, pleasant Sunday afternoon problem anymore. It's not just warming. We have a boiling problem. He actually said that. That's just insane. And our common future from the 90s has become our common agenda. So now this is 21. But you look at the pace picking up after the cerveza sickness. Like, it's just hilarious. And it's all duck or no dinner for these guys, because they know now as more and more people get suspicious and people awakening, they got to get this crap in fast. But I tell you, they have problems now, honestly. It's all to play for. Look at the stuff, the 12 cores. Place women and girls liars. That's just pure ploy. Build trust. Promote peace and prevent conflicts as we work hand in hand with the State Department of the USA, who is the master of creating conflicts. Come on. Protect our... They don't care. They know that's rubbish. Leave no one behind. Make sure they are all ushered into the 15-minute cities. Don't leave anyone behind. Yeah, right. Improve digital cooperation. Yeah. QR codes for everyone, passports. Yeah. We know what that is. Upgrade the United... Well, at least they're honest there. Upgrade it. They are certainly going to do that if they can. Sustainable financing. Complete junk. So the summit of the future they have next month. This thing is a big deal next month, and we need to be watching it like a hawk. And no media will cover it, because it's omerta. You don't tell the little people about the big boy stuff, as we've seen over years. Pact for the future. And basically they want to pact for the future, and it's to take into account future generations of children not yet born, and to make sure their voice is brought into our pact for the future. So let's see what they mean by that, right? The result will be a world and an international system better prepared to manage challenges in the future for the sake of all humanity and for future generations, when we mean our future generations and our progeny. Because they have nothing but contempt for the masses. Because these are up in the ivory towers, tax-free. Even some in the UN in a medium job, from Ireland. They get tax-free, all their kids are sent to the best schools. They get vehicles, cars, the package is worth a fortune, right? That keeps them all happy, all the ticks. So, fair enough. It's all published, by the way. The goal of the pact should be a global transition by states and non-state actors. So that's all Rockefeller and NGOs and all the anti-racism NGOs and all the migration NGOs, and they're all together. And they're all getting lathered with money. That's the way it is. Addressing both supply and demand in a way that achieves balance with the planet. What's an economy where you centrally manage supply and demand That's communism. That's a centrally managed economy. It's not free market, it's not libertarianism, it's not free market capital, it's not capitalism. That's centrally managed economies, it's communism. Okay, thank you. The future generations have spoken from the future and told us, we want you to set up communism so when we're born we can live in a communist world government. Somehow I don't think they represented the future kids. It's technocracy. Rockefeller has funded the Technocracy Inc. group back in the 30s and 40s, 1933. And they wanted to make a technocracy where everything was managed centrally, which of course is just a variant of communism. So, carbon neutral future. We got to race to zero. Hey, you little ants. We want to make this exciting for you. So we want to race to your demise. We want to race to your collapse of quality of life. We want you to race there. It's funny, isn't it? We got to laugh. We got to laugh. Safeguarding the future. Declaration for future generations as yet unborn. State a firm commitment securing the interest of future generations in all decision making by identifying, managing and monitoring global existential risks. Oh, so they're using the future kids as an excuse to get a new system. Wonder what it is. Well, they said it. We need foresight and data for future generations. We need everyone connected to the internet today. We need every data of all movements and everything tracked. And then we can do kind of a planetary brain that can predict future problems. And that is what the future generations will be delighted with. That we've tracked and traced everyone and put them into modeling and using AI to stop any future issue, even though these guys are the ones who make most of the issues. So, there you go. The Futures Lab Network. A network to improve decision making. Global Digital Compact. Someone said earlier, oh, do you heard about the Digital Compact? It sounds kind of nice, like, you know, compact. Okay, yeah, these guys, there's no end to them. Develop and govern digital technologies in ways that enable oh God, give it a rest. Empower people, yeah. Anticipate risks and harms and address them. Oh yeah, that's the bit you want, right? Bring back Neil Ferguson on steroids, if you can actually model future problems, okay? Global AI governance, oh AI. Load of money going into AI, but there's no pathway to getting money back out. S&P 500 shot up, Nvidia, AI, it's a bubble. Well, these guys like AI because they can use it. Advanced warm weather modeling tied to information about urban mobility and behavior patterns. That's not behavior patterns of cats or dogs, actually, that's us. Okay. Early warning systems, blah, blah, blah. Delivery of disaster relief, blah, blah, blah. But they have a problem. What could undermine all of this amazing, lovely, humanitarian, nice stuff? Misinformation and disinformation. So you know the score here. People actually talking about this has to be stopped. Because as you can see here, if you just look at it and talk about it, you can see the whole thing is fraud. And then I'm sure one of the bright guys in there said, well, you know, if we just go after misinformation, disinformation, there'll be a lot of pushback and people say that's free speech and all. What can we put in the people, stick it in there? One of these things is not like the others, but we shove it in there, shoehorn it in, and it's stuff that people might say, well, actually, yeah, I don't like that stuff. Easy. Hate speech. Hate speech does not fit at all with this, but they shoehorned it in. That's why the hate speech laws. Our Prime Minister the other day, twice they failed to bring in a hate speech law that the wording, I literally can't believe they wrote it, the Irish hate speech law. It's just beyond shocking. It's literally Minority Report, future crime. If you are caught with anything, one policeman based on one word can come to your house and take everything from every person in the house, electronic and otherwise, demand PIN codes if needed, and it's a crime not to give them. And anything that's found that is hateful, which is not defined, really, at all, the onus is on you to prove that you would not, in the future, have shared that. They completely just threw away innocent until proven guilty. They threw away everything. And they wrote it. And he says, by the end of this government, we're going to get it in. But twice they failed. You see how important this stuff is? They're pushing it through against the wish of the people so hard when usually politicians just dump stuff when people hate it. They don't bother. They can't dump it because there's a huge hand from above right up their ass saying you have to get that in. It's an imperative. So now you see how it works, you know? So, oh, this is quite dark. At a time of rampant misinformation, look at this slug. Climate denial and attacks on human rights. Oh, tying it in with stuff, nothing to do with it. We need education systems that distinguish fact from conspiracy. Instill respect for the science. Yeah. And celebrate humanity. Come on. Ugh. We all need to become nice weather activists, and we need to uproot the system because, you idiots, the system currently protects you and gives you a good life. And our system, well, if we're going to bring it in, we got to uproot your one. And what's more, we want your kids to uproot it for us. Hence, we use this thing to get to your kids because we probably won't fool enough of you adults.
That'll do it, folks. I'll release more of my various live performances shortly. But the key thing is I do need support in fairness to do all of my kind of technical journalism and counter the misinformation and nonsense from the lamestream media. So my Patreon, for instance, I do vlogs. I'll be doing one later today with more unreleased free content, and I do those a couple of times a month. And also I've got monthly Zooms with certain tiers in the Patreon, and we have massive conversations, Q&A, and you get to really discuss everything that's going on, get all the answers. So great if you can support me there or in PayPal. The links are down below. Really appreciate it, and really appreciate my current supporters. Thank you.